I finally met my fiance's cousin, and her 5-year-old son looks exactly like me. Then I realized I had a one-night stand with her 6 years ago, and my fiancée was probably at the bar that night too. My fiancée, Sarah, she is 27 and I am 30, and we have been together for 3 years. She's actually my first serious girlfriend since middle school. I will honestly admit I've been a complete piece of shit with women for most of my teens and 20s and pretty much used women. I'm saying all this to explain how promiscuous I was in the past. Sarah knows about my past, and she's grown to accept it. We met at work, and she hated me because she saw right through me, and after pursuing her for close to a year, she finally agreed to a date, and the rest is history. We've been living together for 2 years now, and I've grown incredibly close to her parents too, and she also loves my family. Past 3 years have been the best of my life, and I'm so excited to spend the rest of my life with her. This weekend, her cousin and her family are in town. She's really close with her cousin Lauren. Miracle, I haven't met her yet. I was always busy for one reason or another the few times she's visited in the last 3 years. So, I finally met Lauren and her husband for dinner at Sarah's parents' place. She immediately stares at me a bit wide-eyed, and I can't help but think she looks familiar. We're all being introduced to each other, and Lauren, for the most part, seems to be acting normally, but she's still staring at me whenever she can. Sarah's parents then come in with Lauren's little boy who's 5 years old. I'm looking at this kid and Lauren, and the only thing I can think of is that this boy looks like a carbon copy of me at his age with some Lauren mixed in. I'm suddenly starting to remember that I took Lauren home from a bar close to 6 years ago and that we spend the night together. I'm just a sweaty, nervous mess for the rest of dinner, and I think Lauren realizes from how she looked at me and the boy that maybe I realized too. In an even more F-up part, I think Lauren was visiting Sarah the weekend I took her home. They probably had a girls' night out that weekend with their friends, and I took Lauren home. So, Sarah was probably at the same bar that night. Sarah asked me if I was okay, and just told her I wasn't feeling well. I don't know what the F to do. Lauren obviously isn't saying anything. I have no clue if she was married at the time, and I don't want to ask Sarah, because I don't want her getting suspicious about me asking. I don't even know how I feel about possibly being a father. I'm 95% sure this kid is mine. Looked nothing like the husband. Do I just shut up? I never cheated on Sarah, obviously, but she knows how much of a player I was, and it took her a while to get past my number. I don't know how she'd react if she knows I knocked up her cousin years before knowing her. This is vain and superficial about Sarah, and I love her to death, but she absolutely hates if something is considered trashy or low class. I honestly think it's possible she'd leave me if I knocked up her cousin. I can't lose her. She's literally the best thing that's ever happened to me. Best comments. My ideal situation is Sarah doesn't leave me. That's all that matters, and I'll do anything to make sure she stays. I don't know how I feel about the kid. He seemed happy with his parents. They live several states away. Sarah wants kids in the future, maybe 3 to 4 years. Find out the kid's birthday discreetly, can you? And do the math. That will at least tell you if it's possible the kid is yours. I had a scare like this. I saw an ex walking around in the distance. She was pregnant. Then I did the math and realized it was impossible. Search Sarah's calendar for the kid's birthday, and the timing works out. F. Can you reach out to talk to Laura? If she thinks the child might be yours, she should get a DNA test done for your sake and the child's. The more important question is, what if the child is yours? All the people saying to talk to Lauren first are crazy to me. If you're going to marry Sarah, you should be able to sit her down and talk to her about big things before anyone else. The number one most important thing in relationship for me, and for all of the women I know, is trust. It would feel so shady to her if you go to the other woman first. Also, if you don't know Lauren, what if once you confirm who you are, Lauren acts maliciously and sabotages things with Sarah? Please get ahead of the game and just put on a brave face and admit to Sarah that you might recognize her cousin. Thank you. I really appreciate your post. I will definitely talk to Sarah first and follow your advice on how to break it to her if I can muster up the courage. I'm panicking at the possibility of losing her. Update number 1. After 3 days of staying at home and feeling sick to my stomach with nervousness about this, I finally told Sarah late last night after my last post. She held my hands in bed and patiently listened about how I recognized Lauren remembered our night, and how seeing that kid mentally broke me because I saw my future with Sarah jeopardized as soon as I saw him. She told me she's upset I didn't tell her as soon as we left her parents' place and to never keep something like this from her again, but she understood I was scared. She said she's not leaving me because I never betrayed her in the last 3 years we've been together, and we'll figure this out too. And she said she'll reach out to Lauren herself and figure out what's going on because she's been with her husband for 10 years now, and if she's my one-night stand from years ago, she definitely cheated. We then had an even more uncomfortable about the type of things I've done in my past and wanted to know if there's any more surprises she needs to be ready for. Said she knows I was promiscuous and a bit of a reckless idiot, but we kind of swept everything under the rug when we got together because we both agreed we wanted a fresh start. And after this fiasco, that might have been a bad idea. So she wants to know everything in detail now, but we can have that talk another time. I don't feel great about this, but I'll deal with this hurdle when it comes up. Sarah has been home with me, trying to get in touch with Lauren since this morning and has been getting completely stonewalled. Finally, Lauren texted her to please just let it go. Sarah asked her again if they could just have a quick chat, or even if text is okay, but Lauren insisted to just let it go, please. I'm guessing Lauren realized I told Sarah everything. We don't know how to proceed from here on out. We're deciding to just respect her wishes and not pursue this further. Lauren also just changed her response to our wedding invite to a no-show. Sarah's kind of upset by this, but honestly, I'm fine with this outcome. We always plan to leave the US in a few years anyway. I got a lot of messages asking me to just shut up, and I was honestly ready to go that route, but I think the worry was actually physically making me sick. Anyway, thanks everyone for the advice. Much appreciated. Best comments. Now you are thinking about this correctly. What is best for everyone involved? You have competing moral imperatives here. The right of the father to know the truth and the well-being of the child. Not in the sense you are responsible for the kid, but in the sense that you know your choice will affect the kid. I do not know what is right to do here, but you're not wrong to think that the kid having a better life if you never say anything is a relevant consideration. Does it outweigh the husband's right to know? Not sure. But ignore everyone telling you this is such an obvious decision because the father's right to know is clearly the only relevant factor, and he is that kid's father, although he would also have the right to stop being so if he found out the truth. The best case scenario for the kid is that no one else ever finds out. Trying to achieve that best case scenario is a reasonable option. Thank you for your post. This is how we're trying to look at it too. Terrible situation, but trying to make our decision with the kid's best interest in mind. You did the right thing telling Sarah. Lauren wants to bury the hatchet, and if Sarah wants to do this as well, then let it be. Do not confront anyone over this. You don't have all the facts, even though you think you do. All you know right now is that Lauren cheated on her husband with you roughly 6 years ago. What you don't know is if that child is yours. Don't assume that you do. This is how Sarah and I are seeing the situation too. I agree the situation is messed up, and I would like to know if my partner ever cheated. But the fact of the matter is this will likely destroy an otherwise happy family. Both Lauren and her husband are incredibly successful in their fields and live in an affluent area and can provide the best life for the kid, while Sarah and I are still building our careers and about to begin our own lives. And people have been asking whether I care about the kid. Yes, of course I do. I saw myself when I saw him. But I don't even know him. I'm okay with not being in his life, and if in the future he somehow finds out and decides to find me, we can deal with it then. But right now, I'm fine staying at a distance and seeing him through Facebook pics and starting my life with Sarah. Hope that didn't come off as heartless, but I'm truly thinking about what's best for him. Update number 2, 34 days later. I've had literally dozens of people messaging me asking for an update. Sarah and Lauren have been texting since my last update. Mostly Lauren apologizing because she won't be coming to our wedding. She also sent us some wedding and Christmas gifts, which was very sweet of her. Sarah didn't really push her for answers, but left an open invitation to talk whenever Lauren felt comfortable. Few days before Christmas, Lauren FaceTimed Sarah and told her everything. Her and her husband were going through a rough patch in their wedding at the time. He had an emotional affair with a co-worker, and they were separated for a few weeks before reconciling. Lauren met me early on during the separation when we had our one-night stand. She told Sarah, I'm the only one she ever hooked up with during this separation. Soon after she realized she was pregnant, she reconciled with her husband. They had been trying with no luck, so just decided to raise the child as their own. Lauren said she's told her husband, and it's caused some turmoil in their marriage, and they're working through it now. He knew about this nameless, faceless man, but seeing me in the flesh and knowing after the fact that I'm the guy has been a bit traumatic for him, and he's feeling very insecure. So unfortunately, he never wants us to ever interact or be in the same room again. I was listening right out of view from the camera, but I couldn't help but ask Lauren if this means I can never see the boy. She just said she was sorry. She told Sarah she'll talk to her later, and that was it. They've still been texting, and it seems Lauren and her husband will be okay with some time. Now we have to always coordinate that we're not coming to family events at the same time. Sarah and Lauren have already made plans to meet themselves, though. As far as Sarah and I, we're doing okay. We had one pretty bad fight a few days after the last post went up. She wanted to know in excruciating detail everything about the type of guy I was before. Honestly felt like a CIA interrogation at one point. She cried and told me she wished she fell in love with someone else, which hurt a lot. She apologized the next morning, and we've been doing a lot better now. I think we're stronger now, in fact, now that she knows everything. I'm also never ever doing that ancestry testing services all these companies do. I've also gotten a much better paying job that's fully remote. Sarah will talk with her boss to see how she can convert to full remote as well, which we think is possible. We might be leaving sooner than we thought. Thanks everyone that provided advice, especially after the first post.